AITA for acting spoilt over inheritance. My wife, F27, and I, F26, had our baby a couple of weeks ago. She came a little bit early and my recovery's harder than expected, so we decided to wait before letting people come over. My dad, M57, said that he wanted to see the baby, so we agreed to FaceTime. My stepmom, F33, invited herself on the call, which annoyed my wife and I, but we didn't have the energy to argue. Stepmom made a comment that I should sort out a will just in case my cancer from when I was little came back, which threw me a bit because it was their first time meeting the baby and she was just talking about me. I said that my wife and I both keep on top all the legal stuff, and I asked if they had a plan. Dad then said that should stepmom die first, everything would go to him, then split between me, my nearly 2-year-old half-brother, and any future children. My other siblings are on my mom and stepdad's side, and left it at that. Then I pointed out, probably that dad is significantly older than stepmom, and he went silent. Stepmom explained that all of dad's stuff and insurance would go to her and, when she dies, to her children. I asked if I was included in any of that, and she told me to stop being spoiled. I should note that this isn't some huge aristocratic fortune, but they're upper middle class and can afford a lot more than anyone else in my family. My wife and I are also solidly middle class, so we do alright financially. Then I asked could I at least have the mountain bike. Dad used to spend thousands on bicycles, and there's one we used to work on together when I spent weekends there, especially as a teenager. We even made attachments so that I could ride it with my accessibility needs. Dad told me that he sold it on eBay to make more room when stepmom moved in. Here's where I feel like I could have been acting out of order. I said that it wasn't fair that his new family got everything when we still have a relationship. He said that stepmom's a stay-at-home mom and they're trying for another baby, while I'm planning to go back to work after maternity leave so she could do with everything. I said that I'm impressed he's found a way to continue his streak of avoiding child support into his death, and hung up. Now I'm feeling like I was unfair, as it's his money and stuff and he gets to decide what to do with it. Well, it's your father's, stepmother's money, and they can do with it as they like. I am sorry about the bike. I'm sure it would have been thoughtful of your dad to offer it to you first. But I will say your stepmom sounds like a handful if she's bringing up your will on a FaceTime call with the first meet and greet with your child. That sounds callous. At the end of the day though, you've got your hands full with a new baby, and that should be 100% your focus along with your nuclear family. I would say a soft YTA, because you aren't owed anything beyond being raised in a healthy and safe environment. And I hope you had that. I personally think NTA. You just pointed out that he has a pervasive habit of not supporting his children. You do not have a right to anything, sadly, as you are now a self-supporting adult, but your statement was true nonetheless. I do think you are wading into being an asshole to yourself and your precious baby by continuing to have contact with him. Don't teach your beautiful baby that he is a good role model and someone they should have in their life. Good luck, and I wish you speedy healing and years of joy, good health, happiness and prosperity. And I don't think it's spoiled to be concerned that things aren't going to be fairly divided when they're the ones that brought it up in the first place. Everyone should get something no matter who dies first, so long as you still have a relationship. NTA, but facing a cold hard truth, and it can be painful. My dad did the same thing. When he died, his current wife got everything. She will leave everything to their daughter, my half-sister. It is what it is. I never assumed anything different would happen. 57 is still pretty young, and a lot can change between now and then. Don't let it ruin your present relationship. If it really bothers you, you can take out a life insurance policy on your father and pay the premiums yourself. Most states require he be aware of the policy. AITA if I tell my family why I'm leaving my fiancé. This is going to be a long one probably, and I've been up all night crying, so it might be all over the place. I, 23F, want to leave my fiancé 24M. We have a daughter together, 1.5 meters, which makes this a bit complicated. We're both still in school, financially intertwined, and live together. And we're really happy, except for one issue. He has a porn addiction. As a girl who's been cheated on a lot in the past, I made it clear that a boundary of mine was that I didn't want someone of mine to look at other girls naked. He said this was understandable, and we moved past it. To at least try to keep it brief, I caught him watching porn behind my back about 4 times. I addressed it each time. Postpartum, it really hurt my feelings. I struggled with body image, and catching him doing that made me feel so bad about myself, as if I wasn't enough. The last time this happened was about a year ago, and I thought he actually was done. But lately I've been getting really weird feelings from him. He'd stay in the bathroom forever and basically just block himself out for hours at a time. I quite honestly thought he was cheating, so when he was asleep I went through his phone. Everything was clear until I went to his private browser. So much porn, and at this point it felt like a lost cause. I'm aware that it's just porn, but it's a boundary I set. And it constantly being disrespected is making me think this won't work. Into the issue, I want to leave. My parents are going to suspect say if I randomly decide to call off the wedding, which could unnecessarily escalate the situation, so I think the best option is to tell them the real reason I'm coming home. My fiancé has begged me not to, and told me I'd be if I embarrassed him like that. AITA? You are definitely NTA. If you don't feel safe, respected, and loved by your partner, you absolutely have every right not to marry him. You have no obligation to stay in a relationship that makes you unhappy, for any reason, especially one where trust is an issue. You are teaching your daughter to do what is best for herself. NTA, I don't think you need to tell anyone the specifics. But from what you shared, he has a problem. Occasional porn use is fine, but blocking yourself off for hours at a time isn't normal. This has nothing to do with your PP body. He has an addiction. If he's not willing to get help, then there is nothing you can do. Marrying him will make things so much worse. NTA, your boundaries are your own, and you will find a partner that respects them once you move on. For now, the fiancé you have doesn't respect them, and you sure as hell don't dismiss your wants and needs by marrying him so he doesn't get embarrassed. What does he expect you to do, annul the marriage a week after it takes place? Because guess what, people are still gonna talk about that. Seriously, your family is going to understand. They aren't going to want you to continue to feel miserable in an unhealthy relationship and waste more time on this guy. If you want to go home, allow yourself to feel happy knowing this will all get better soon. Pack your things, live where you are appreciated, continue your studies online or transfer to a local college, but do not continue to stay in an unhappy relationship and raise your daughter in that kind of a negative environment. I'm going to have to go with Ash. He's in awe for overstepping boundaries and spending hours in the bathroom when he's got a child and postpartum partner to take care of. His first priority right now is taking care of his family. He can't be wasting that much time. You're not totally off the hook here either. I understand and empathize with your feelings of insecurity, but frankly, don't look at porn, ever, is not a reasonable boundary to hold. Usage of porn and self-pleasure is extremely common in committed relationships and doesn't have any correlation with infidelity. Plenty of couples enjoy it together, actually. And while I think your BD went overboard, the fact is, he's a new dad and his partner is 1.5 months postpartum, and he could probably use a release every now and then. The boundary that you've set is indicative of a deeper issue that's going to make it difficult to hold a healthy, intimate relationship with anyone. And I'm sorry to say it, but you're also here for responding to this by unilaterally making rules like this instead of seeking therapy and working on the root issue. AITA for getting lip filler behind my parents' back? I, F20, live with my very conservative parents. I pay for mostly everything myself, except my dad usually helps me and my sister with our phone bill each month. And my mom will help me out with purchasing some supplies for my cat food, litter, nail trims, etc. I have been working since I was 14, so I have a good amount of savings and have even bought my own car at 18. So I would say that I am pretty responsible with my money. I started getting eyelash extensions at age 17, and they have always hated that because it's quite expensive to keep up with. And they don't like to see me spending money when they're helping me with certain expenses, which I understand. I also have gotten multiple small tattoos which they were very disapproving of. It's a bit annoying to me because they seem to think that I am not allowed to spend money on any wants if they are helping me pay for certain things. Even me dyeing my hair annoys them because it's unnecessary spending. I got lip filler yesterday and my mom yelled at me about how irresponsible it is to be spending money on this when she is buying my cat's food, which I have no problem paying for. She's just always taken it upon herself to buy, which I am grateful for. And every time I buy anything unnecessary, they say they aren't helping with the phone bill anymore. I have no issues paying for anything myself. It's my sister who refuses to pay the full bill, so it would be unfair if I pay most of the bill when she is not. I hate how they hold things over my head like that because when I tell them I'll just pay for it, they don't even want me to. It's like they want to help me just to throw it in my face every time I buy something they disapprove of. So yeah, she yelled at me all morning about the lip filler until I cried, right after she was asking me to do her favors. I told her if she's going to hang everything over my head all the time, she shouldn't expect me to do favors for her because I am an adult who can spend their money on what they want to. Am I being ungrateful? I understand the thought process of what they're saying, but I'm still a bit annoyed, lol. Am I the asshole? Edit. I also should mention that they are currently paying for my college tuition as well. My dad is very well off and has always had the intention of paying for me and my sister's university, college tuition. YTA, your patents are right. You shouldn't be wasting money when you can't even fully support yourself financially. Those lip injections would have paid your phone bill, or for the cats. In a side note, you need to stop letting your parents enable you. They should not be paying your bills, or feeding your cats. Ask them to let you fail on your own. If your phone gets shut off because you chose to get eyelashes, that should be on you. If you can't afford your cat, you should find someone who can, and rehome it. I would guess that having wholly unnecessary beauty treatments is a bit of the reaction on your parents' part, not just the expense. It's so distressing to see how uniform and exacting young women are expected to be to present themselves on social media and the world. Long nails, hair extensions, face fillers, eyelashes, makeup stenciled on with pinpoint perfection. All just in service of making some company more money. The screaming has got to be about that, but the money is the more morally clear delineator. But, if you are going to live at home and take their money, it's actually not outside of bounds to say, I'd like to spend a bunch of my money on X. What do you think? Because right now as an adult, you are actually pooling resources with the other adults in your life. The conversation will likely not result in you getting everyone on board with cosmetic procedures, and then you have to decide whether it still makes sense to pool with them or get independent. Finish school, get independent. Your face is beautiful the way it is. NTA, but if the situation continues, you can definitely become Ta. It sounds like it's time to start cutting ties. Stop letting them pay for you. I know they're refusing, but you've mentioned you can afford your own cat's food and your own phone bill, so pay for those yourself. Stop giving them reasons to get upset. I was in a similar situation where my parents would lecture for me for living my young adult life, even though I was being responsible. You stayed out too late. Yes, I told you I would before I even left. And I have tomorrow off. You came home drunk. Yes, I am of legal drinking age and I got a ride. What's the problem? You're too young to move in with your boyfriend. He's 25. I'm 22. We're both college grads working full-time and have been together for 2 years. You were married with 2 kids by my age. How am I too young but you weren't too young? By becoming as independent and responsible as possible, they lost all their footing for arguments. I don't know if they got over themselves, but they certainly had to bite their tongue. Eventually you're going to be out on your own. So while it's great, you can get eyelashes and tattoos and fillers and live that Instagram life. But the truth is, you're not paying all your bills like you will be put on your own. I'm thinking you're in for a rude awakening. Granted, you mentioned you have bought your own car and things, but I also feel that your parents are being confusing as they help pay for things, and then insist on doing some of it, then complain about it. The fact you're doing all this fake stuff to yourself is going to be a hard keep up once you're on your own. So keep that in mind. You're a very fortunate woman. Esh, because your parents enable you then bitch about it. And you don't quite comprehend your future maintenance is going to affect your finances.